Well, there it is, Micah. What season is it? Israel season or Ukraine season? Ukraine season is so last year.
Passe even. See, that's one of the funniest things about this is we're watching everyone fight over who's gonna get the funding. And here's the best part: America's funding all sides. We just gave, what was it, $6 billion to Iran, $8 billion to Israel, almost $200 billion to Ukraine. Everyone's getting money from us.
It's really disgusting that we are funding wars left and right. We fund Ukraine, we fund Israel, we fund Iran, and I think the American people are sick of this. You don't have to be politically involved to understand that this is absurd, and we're sick of it. Many people ask us why we do this and why we get on the airwaves and broadcast our thoughts and beliefs. It's simply just to complain. It makes me feel better about my life to be able to come out and complain about what's going on when you don't have the tools and the resources. Maybe the skills to get in politics. We're here to awaken the masses and maybe inspire some people to think differently and stop watching football and stop watching Netflix and do things that are, conducive with creating a better country. And, I think if we can wake people up to that, I like to be optimistic. I don't think we ever will, but that's what we're trying to do at the end of the day. So thanks for being here. We're 47 episodes deep. We're going to talk about Israel and Palestine today. It's this war has been going on for a really long time, and this may be our fate, man. This may be the World War III, the start of World War III, a long religious war that we've seen for hundreds, thousands of years now.
Thousands of years. We can go back like a long way. Even the Bible talks about all the religious wars going on between the Israel and the Moabites and the Philistines and all these different, it has never ended.
Never ends. Well, the show is never going to end as well. We're going to go on forever and continue to make this show great. So thanks for being here today. We can't wait to get into it, and let's hit it today. Glad you're here today, Micah. Glad to have you here on this Monday evening, October 9th, 2023, coming to you live. We do every show live because, why not? Many people want to edit their content, make it look all perfect. We're coming to you raw here from the Base Boys. What do we call this? The War Room? Base Boys War Room? Can we call it that? Too many people use that name.
Everyone's saying War Room now.
Well, we're creating a war room over there in the Middle East. It's almost like 9/11 for the Middle East, maybe it is. Are there going to be some weapons of mass destruction? Are there going to be politicians telling us that we need to decimate these, maybe Gaza, decimate the Middle East again to create American sovereignty? I mean, we're going to get lied to again and again.
Are you trying to tell me this is a false flag? Zane, how anti-Semitic of you.
Well, I smell elite bull crap on it every inch of the way. So we got a special guest with us today.
I'm excited.
He's been on the show multiple times. We love having him. Go ahead. I'll unmute you here. If you want to unmute yourself, Steve, we're ready to get you in on the show today. Oh, you might actually have to get on your device there. We're having another technical difficulty. I believe you're going to have to unmute yourself from your phone there, Steve. Yeah. Okay, well, while in waiting, we're having Big Steve on tonight. He is going to, end our technical difficulty. We have a lot of these quite often. I messed up there.
I mean, the intern messed up there.
Intern, yeah. So always blame it on the intern. So, well, Micah, what are your thoughts and takes on the recent events? I know we discussed this Saturday night when we had Caleb on the show. What do you think?
I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. It's too convenient. It's too perfect. What happened a couple days before the Israel invasion? That's what they're calling it. I don't call it that. What happened a couple days before is Congress had a big upheaval. They kicked out the speaker. The money wasn't being sent to Ukraine.
Hang on one sec. You're still muted. You're going to have to click unmute on your phone. It only allows me to ask to unmute. So, yeah. Rookie mistake here. Continue, Micah.
So we're watching basically Congress lose their ability to fund Ukraine. So what ends up happening? A different action happens. And supposedly there was an invasion from the people of Gaza. Missiles were being sent left and right. And what ends up happening? The American people lose. The American people keep on losing over and over and over again. $33 trillion of debt. 33 trillion. And we're still sending billions to Ukraine. We're still sending billions to Israel. We just sent billions to Iran. What gives? What are we about to do now? Are we going to fight for Taiwan? Are we going to get involved in Azure?
You got it. That works, Steve.
There we go. Is he on?
Yeah, we got him back.
There we go.
We are so sorry about that. That is our fault on the technical difficulty there. Oh my goodness, we are having more technical difficulties as we rise. Here, give me one moment here. All right, well, there he is. Steve, introduce yourself. That's the worst technical difficulty we've ever had. Israel and Palestine must hate us for this.
Well, you know, it's the CIA that's trying to block this whole damn broadcast, right? They don't want the truth out, right?
Yeah, I think they're tapping into us here.
Yeah, they're definitely tapping into us here. So we're definitely on another government list. So
that's okay. That's what we strive for. We've been dying to make it on the ADL, and that's what we do at Base Boys. So, Steve, what are your thoughts on the recent events?
You know what I mean? You look at this and it's like it's like you guys are just saying. It's like, so Speaker of the House gets ousted.
Money freezes.
Just over a month ago, I mean, we free up, was it $6-8 billion for of Iranian money? I mean, the intelligence breakdown. How did Mossad not see this coming? How did U.S. intelligence not see this coming? I mean, there was a couple things. Now, I mean, granted, it's on Twitter, the internet, this and that. But they're talking about how there was a stand down on Israeli intelligence last week. I mean, it's one of those things. It's like none of this shit makes sense right about now. What is the deal that's going on? I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping you guys can give me a little insight on this one, because none of this stuff makes sense right about now.
Exactly. These people, even the most expertise political pundits, even people that have been paying attention to the geopolitics of Israel and Palestine for many years, still probably shouldn't have any answers. I mean, you see Conservative Inc. die. Like, it's like a massive chess game. They're the ones pulling the strings, or they're ones moving the pawns and the pieces on the chessboard. And that's the biggest reason I have a problem with the military-industrial complex. Like, I want to serve my country, but at the same time, you're beholden to a bunch of warmongering elites that literally just care about one thing: profit, control, or some sort of spiritual agenda. And I don't think any political solution can solve our spiritual problem that we face. It's a spiritual problem of man and their demise and their sin and their ways of just wanting to one up everybody and do something for themselves. And just it's so much. Simply said, it's just sin is what we see in man. So it's no political issue will solve this spiritual problem that we face as humans. And I don't really know how we can move forward. But one thing that we don't like here is we do not like most American conservative politicians. Because what are they? They're just shills for this entire thing. Because you know what's sad is I can sit here and I can call out Palestine all day long, but the moment that I call so you can call out for complete annihilation of of Palestine, but when you call out Israel in any fashion and you say that they're a corrupt regime that doesn't really, they're not really God's chosen land anymore, you get labeled an anti-Semite. Are you familiar with this, Big Steve?
Well, no, it's no different from what you say. It's no different than you go back, well, a couple of years. I mean, with the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. If you said anything against Russia, or you don't want to send, as a politician, or just an average person like the three of us, you don't want to support the Ukraine. Well, you're pro Putin. It's thrown out the narrative. And if you paid any attention, Zelensky's the little dictator that could, and and I'm not the first one to say this isn't my idea, but I've watched enough stuff, I've read enough stuff where a lot of people are saying that Putin and Zelensky are working together. I mean, if you look at what Zelensky believes in, what Putin believes in, it's the same damn thing. So now you take it to the Middle East. I mean, the Middle East is just that weird thing. I mean, they've been fighting for how many thousands of years? I mean, it's hard to take one side or the other. Is it Israel right? I don't know. I mean, your average Israeli citizen, me and you, and the three of us, and average Israeli citizens in Israel. No, like you said, Zayn, we're not the problem. It's the government. But yeah, who's funding it, and what are they doing? And like I said before, where was the intelligence on this? How was this a surprise attack? I mean, they've been at this for how many years?
Yeah.
This should not have been a surprise attack.
Yeah, and that's one thing that crosses my radar is, how is this a surprise attack? I mean, you've got the Iron Dome, you've got the Mossad, the most feared intelligence agency there is. You're telling me that men with hang gliders came in through a concert through Israel, through the most heavily defended airspace with the most feared intelligence agency, and it was a surprise attack? I mean, it's insane. But to add to your point, it literally is about government tyranny. That's what the premise of this show is based on. Whether your religious beliefs, whether it's your political beliefs, we want people to see that government tyranny is the major cause to majority of our problems. They intervene so much, it messes with economics, it messes with entertainment, media, all the institutions, and it creates the problems that we see today. I want to play this video with Nikki Haley. So she's a former ambassador of UN, currently running for president. Surprised she doesn't have her Israel flag on her pin or on her shirt here, like most of these conservative politicians do, supporting not America. So let's go to this video real quick.
Back, because I want the American people to kind of take this in for a second. Just imagine that here the Israelis woke up and communities were bombarded, families were murdered, women and children were taken hostage, dragged through the streets, the elderly were taken. All of this has happened in front of everyone, on top of thousands of rockets that hit Israel. This should be personal for every woman and man in America. Why? Because when they did this surprise attack, when they took these hostages, when they murdered these families, they were celebrating. And what were they celebrating? They were saying death to Israel, death to America. This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on America, because they hate us just as much. And what we have to understand is this is the reason that we have to unite around making sure our enemies do not hurt our friends. America can never be so arrogant to think we don't need friends, just like we needed them on 9/11. That's why Ukraine needs us when Russia's doing this. That's why Israel needs us when Hamas and Iran are doing this. And I'll say this to Prime Minister Netanyahu: finish them. Finish them. Hamas did this. Iran's behind it. Finish them. They should have hell to pay for what they've just done.
So there it is. Nikki Haley banging on the war drums right there. They want to decimate Gaza. They want to create more war. But probably some sort of backdoor deals to get this war going and to move the troops in to take care of their war efforts. And this is what we see. We don't want politicians doing this. I honestly, I'm not an expert, but what's your guys' take on this? Do we see Hamas as a threat to America? I mean, I can't even take what Conservative Inc. says anymore. I mean, for example, Benny Johnson the other day posted a video on Twitter talking about the Iranian parliament saying death to America. Yet this video was from 2020 and he labeled it as live, happening right now, when this is literally like this happened 3 years ago. This isn't even equating to what happens now. So it's very, you have to have good discernment in today's day and age when you're sifting through the plethora of information that's out there. And I don't think anybody knows really what to believe with anything that's going on. But guys, should we finish him? Should we decimate this threat out there? Should we continue banging on the war drum and spend billions of taxpayer dollars to just end lives and children's lives, women's lives? I mean, if you can't get emotional about this and understand, and you're just so caught up in just bull crap that doesn't matter, I mean, this is real life stuff here.
It is. It truly is. We see a lot of our politicians advocating for Israel as like it is America. When she was attack against Israel's attack against America, when Nikki Haley said that, she's showing that she's not putting American lives first. How many American men need to die for Israel? That's the question that we should be asking her. How many men and women that I know need to go over to Israel to protect them and will die for this? None of my business. None of my concern. I am America first. I want America to thrive. It's not make Israel great again. It's make America great again. America should not be getting involved in religious wars. So when America's trying to negotiate peace deals between the Sunni and Shia, which is Saudi Arabia and Iran, what are we doing? Why are we trying to get ancient religious conflicts resolved? Why are we trying to get involved in the Middle East at all? It's all oil money, and they're trying to get us to support Israel, give them more money. Why are we doing this? Israel is not America. Israel is our ally, yes, but I don't care about my allies that much. And what did Israel do for us after 9/11? There's so much rumors that Mossad knew about the attack happening. If we follow the main narrative, Mossad knew about the attack happening. That's the main narrative. If you go on alternative narratives, they may have orchestrated it. There is. Oh, go ahead.
Well, here we go with another guy banging on the war drums here. Here we go with Lindsey Graham.
So I've been on the phone all day to the Mideast, and I've told our allies and people with connections to Iran what I would do. I would tell Iran that if Hezbollah attacks Israel, we're going to come after you, the Iranians, and have a coordinated effort between the United States and Israel to put Iran out of the oil business by destroying their refineries. There are 4 major refineries in Iran. They're fixed targets. If Hezbollah attacks Israel, I would make Iran pay a heavy price.
Oh, I'd love to get your opinion on that, Big Steve. So, when Hamas, an entity that is Palestinian, attacks Israel, we go to war with a completely different country that is maybe connected. What do you think about that? Do you think there's some Israel connections there? Do you think this is kind of reminiscent of 9/11?
Well, you know, Zane made a comment, a little earlier about stocking up on ammo and stocking up on, food, because you go after Iran. I mean, you're starting World War III. I mean, the thing is we don't know. We don't know who's. I mean, they've been saying for years that Iran, and it's been since the Arab Spring back in 1979 that they've been shouting death to America, death to Israel. I mean, we are the great Satan. Israel's the little Satan. They've been saying that for forever. I mean, back to the 70s. But all of a sudden, Mr. Lindsey Graham wants to go after the oil refineries. You start bombing them. I mean, you've got the Chinese, the Russians, the Iranians, North Koreans. They're all kind of coming up with this little coalition here, right? So what do we do now? I mean, so yeah, you're just going to go bomb them because there's not going to be any repercussions after that. And one of you two said it earlier. I mean, who's coming across our border? We have no. I mean, it's we are just the little people. We are the nothings. I mean, this is set out by the politicians to reach people to this and to that. I mean, the Lindsey Grahams. It's a joke. And who knows where to get turned? I don't know where to turn. I don't know what to do. I mean, and where do the American people go? I mean, we're just trying to pay our taxes and pay our bills and live a good life.
And
But they
it's
are pushing us to World War III. I mean, between Ukraine and of the New World Order. I mean,
history is truly at a turning point. You must eat the bugs and live in the pot.
Amen, brother, on that one. No, not amen, brother, on that one. But thank you for the Klaus Schwab. But what Micah said was right. What you said was right. It's I mean, hell, I'm wearing a sweatshirt that says Army right now. I mean, I spent my time in the military, and it's not the people that the people that die at war, the people that die at battle, are not the people that start the war. They're not the people that cause the war. I mean, they don't die. I mean, you can go back to biblical times. You can go back to the Dark Ages in Europe. I mean, the kings of France and the kings of England, and I mean, it's the peasants, it's the little people, it's us that die. And you look at this, and yeah, the Palestinians. I mean, your average Palestinian. I mean, are they much different than us? I mean, okay, so they may believe in a different God, a different religion, a different way of life. But I mean, you look at this country. You take a guy from New York, a guy from Texas, a guy from Wisconsin, a guy from California. I mean, we're all the same country. We're all the same. We're all Americans, but we're also different. But you take these people from. I mean, it's the people that are waging war are not dying. It's us. It's the common folk that are dying, and that's what the politicians want. And that's why I asked for the Zane's impression of Klaus Schwab, because does this fall into the New World Order? Is this all part of the game that's being played?
I think it's a.
I don't know.
I think it's a play to get open borders, cause massive chaos in the Middle East, allow an influx of Muslims into Europe, because Europe is being invaded by Muslims. America is being invaded by Muslims. Islam and Christianity do not go hand in hand. They are fundamentally different. A lot of people will say, "Oh, they believe in a very similar God." We do not believe in a very similar God. So in a lot of ways, I think this is in order to cause a massive influx of refugees from Middle Eastern countries into Western countries, because we've already seen Europe, for all intents and purposes, fall. Paris is basically surrendered to Islam. Germany is surrendering to Islam. All the Nordic countries, Sweden, rape capital of the world, right? Used to not be. Used to be the safest place in the world, but right now it's the rape capital of the world because Islamists have invaded, and we're seeing the same thing right now. And so that's one of the things I kind of go back and forth with, because I don't support Israel, but also I don't blindly look at the Islamic states and say, hey, they're also right. My whole point on this is America should not be involved one bit. Israel is not the 51st state. Lindsey Graham may want it to be. Nikki Haley may desire that Netanyahu be Prime Minister of America, but Israel is not America. Palestine is not American. None of the Middle East represents America. We have very, very different beliefs. So my whole point is that keep America American, and we need to stay out of not just Europe's affairs, because remember, George Washington is in his closing speech when he was leaving America, was leaving as president, said, stay out of the affairs of Europe, but we also need to stay out of the affairs of the Middle East.
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, the United States Marines, the Marine Corps was what was it, sent by Jefferson to
Libya, yeah.
was it? Yeah, Libya to fight Somali pirates. I mean, the Muslim pirates. I mean, it's we've had this for how many damn years? I mean, you go back to biblical times. I mean, whatever. And I agree with you. We need to worry about America, and you know, Lindsey Graham and Nikki Haley and you take any Democrats you want. You know, they're so worried about Ukraine. We got to protect the border of Ukraine because the Ukrainians need to be protected from the Russians. We need to protect the Israelis from the Palestinians. We need to. I mean, how many budgets have had financing for border walls for like Jordan and Yemen and this and that? How about we worry about our own damn country? And, you know, and I think I've said this to you guys before on this podcast. I've got a couple connections into Homeland Security, and the amount of Chinese national military age people that are coming across the border is absurd. We have no idea who's coming across the border. We have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, and they're just letting it happen. Is this another 9/11? Yeah, well, yeah, we didn't know nothing about it. Did they not? But let's worry about this country before we start worrying about everything else. But it's the war machine, like you guys have talked about. That's all they care about is how much money can we make.
Seriously, it's never ending, and you know what's really astonishing to me is, you know, you might be able to contribute to this this idea, but I feel like we were more established and more close to the American ideology 20, 30 years ago, even if we were beholden to corporate elites that were taking advantage of us. But we see in the streets of D.C., we see in the streets of New York nowadays, we see in the streets of all American cities now, you see Palestinians and Israelis fighting in America. I find it very bizarre. This is America. We're supposed to have American flags. We're supposed to believe in the American ideology. We should have people coming over here supporting that. We'll go to this clip here of some Palestinian pro-Muslim people here in the streets of New York.
We're done being tortured and hurt and judged. This is the correct religion. This is the religion that all of humanity needs to be upon, of Islam. And we will not stop until it enters every home. So I want you to repeat after me. I want to hear it in every single district. It should tremble. Brooklyn should hear it. The Bronx should hear it. Queens should hear it. Say it as if the Ummah depends on this, my brothers and sisters. La ilaha illallah. There is no God worthy of worship except Allah, the God of Jesus, the God of Moses, the God of Abraham, and the God of the last and final prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're done being tortured.
Well, there it is. We have people coming to this country. I mean, we are the melting pot. We are the idea of freedom and freedom of religion. But what is y'all's take on this?
Mass deportation right there. All those people going like, Allah Akbar, in the middle of New York. He's just deporting all those guys. Send them back. Send them back. We don't want them.
So you don't allow religious freedoms, Micah?
Gosh, no. No, do you think I want some guy going like chanting Allah Akbar in the streets? No.
I think we can have a tight country. I mean, I'm all for religious freedoms. You can practice what you want, but we should have Christian ethics be the moral code for this country. not that of Muslims. If you want to do that, go to the Middle East, go to those countries, and practice. Steve, what do you make of this?
The simulator hit the goddamn road. It's that simple. I mean, it's a damn joke. I mean, it really is. I mean, when we can go back to our earlier discussions about is it right for Israel to bomb Palestine? Is it right for this or that, whatever? But when you're having rallies in this country by thousands of people that are against this country and against everything this country stands for, you don't have a country anymore. You don't have a border. You don't have a country anymore. I mean, you had BLM members, out protesting over the weekend and rallying in the support of Hamas. Now, whether that's right or wrong, it's who knows what the details are right now. But I mean, we don't have a country anymore. This country has been so broken and fractured by the same people that are pushing the wars and pushing the ideologies that America is the next country to fall. It's going to happen. It's already started. I mean, the left, the right, the black, the white, the gay, the straight. I mean, everything. This country is the next to fall, and that's the sad part of it.
It's like they're actively conducting the Cloward Piven strategy. Are you guys familiar with this?
I'm not. Tell me about it.
I'm interested to hear this myself.
Okay, so the Cloward Piven strategy is basically the intentional act of, decimating the economy, decimating the government through intentional acts to, implement a great reset. It's basically a fancy word for the Great Reset, and that's essentially what we're seeing. They're releasing people across through the border. We have these endless wars that are being funded. Massive media propaganda to suppress the people and get them focused on other things that don't matter. It just all seems like an intentional act. I mean, if I were a globalist, this is what I would do. I mean, if you try to think like a globalist, it's not that hard to understand really what's going on. That's why we believe in a constitutional republic. We want more countries to become constitutional republic where you can actually be governed or have a government that's for the people, by the people. And I'm going to ask you this because you've been around a lot longer, Big Steve. Do you think we've ever lived in a representative government in your lifetime? I mean, you were born in the...
Draining the American taxpayer and of their just ability to make money. So we're getting taxed on all sides. Our income's going down. In New York, do you know they're having a huge problem with delivery drivers? Because New York fought as hard as they possibly could. $21.50 for delivery drivers. And now all the massive amount of immigration that came in, they're only taking like $5. Because everyone's paying their delivery drivers underneath the table. They're not really paying them, but every American, $21.50. Immigrants, way less. So right there, boom, you bankrupt the workers of America and get them to agree to a stupid thing saying, hey, we want $21.50 to just deliver whatever. And so we're bankrupting America left and right, gutting the middle class, getting rid of manufacturing, completely making America in debt. We're over $1 trillion in credit card debt.
But it's okay, just keep watching your football and, watch the Taylor Swift and Mr. Pfizer saga, It's great. I saw this clip the other day where they're literally fighting over a football. Like some dude for the Dolphins scored a touchdown and he gives the ball to the crowd, and you've got these people literally like fighting tooth and nail over a football, like things that don't matter. I always make the football analogy. Like, did you catch the game last night, Micah?
That is a good question. No, I did not.
But seriously, it's the focus that most Americans don't have. And again, that's one thing that we want to inspire and waken people up to, is to focus on things that matter. I mean, entertainment matters. I think you can, you can indulge in these things, but we got serious things to worry about for sure. So I want to pull up the United Nations Office for Coordinated and Humanitarian Affairs. So we've got some really amazing statistics on this website. So we'll go share this real quick. So we have Palestinian deaths. So this is since 2008. We go back to 2008. We're looking, 15 years ago. We have 6,400 Palestinian deaths versus 308 Israeli deaths. Now, this is straight coming from an article from ABC News. So, we're not just finding this from some alternative news source. This is legacy media that's reporting this, and it's all over the place. But essentially, the whole narrative that Israel is the peacemaker. They're the ones that aren't causing any issues. They're not doing any horrible things over there. And Palestinians and Hamas and Muslims are the problem. Where's the narrative on Israel? We have literally hard facts from UN databases. This is a full database of all this, from injuries to deaths, fatalities, whatever it may be. This is what we're looking at. What do you guys make of this?
So that's one of my whole points there, is I'm not against Israel. I'm not against Israel at all. I just don't think that we should be blindly supporting a country like this. Like, we should not be blindly supporting a country saying, whatever Israel does, we do too. America needs to stay out of Israel's affairs. Because it's not our place. America does not belong in the Middle East. America is not in the Middle East, and America should stop supporting people in the Middle East. We should stop sending $4 billion a year in aid to Israel, because we don't need to. We already sell them enough weapons. We don't need to send them more money.
Or just leave weapons behind like we did in Afghanistan. Have you guys heard of this? So we've got 70%. There was a report like 70% of the weapons that were sent to Ukraine. Well, this is a different note, but 70% of the weapons that were sent to Ukraine were like not even sent to Ukrainian soldiers. So who knows where those ended up? And then you've got all these, tanks and planes and all this stuff that was left behind in Afghanistan. Where is that ending up? Where is that going? So we're either leaving it behind or we're directly funding it. Either way, it's a shit show.
Well, I might have known a soldier who was in Afghanistan towards the end of it, and they talked about how they were going, like, all right, so we're leaving, we need to destroy this, and they were forbidden to destroy any of it. They had to leave it. Why? Why would you let our night vision technology, our weapon technology, our tank technology, our artillery technology, whatever technology, helicopter technology, they were forbidden to destroy it. They had to leave it. And they came from soldiers I know that were over there. It's you just look at all of this, and I mean, you threw those numbers up, Drizane. I mean, that's from ABC News in the UN. Do you believe any of it? I mean, I don't believe any of it. That's the hard part. Is like, so are the Palestinians really attacking the Israelis? Did the Israelis push it? We don't know, because we can't get a true answer on a damn thing that happens in this country. I mean, who do you support? Who do you back? Whether it's Russia, Ukraine, whether it's Israel, Palestine. I mean, everything is just against America right now. And you can't believe a damn thing you say, a damn thing anybody says. Fox News or NBC or the UN. You can't believe any of it. So where does that leave us stand?
Seriously.
In the dark, not knowing a damn thing.
Even if we have good discernment, it's still really hard to dissect what's actually going on. I mean, we live in a firestorm of information. Alex Jones named his channel InfoWars for a reason, because we're in an information war. General Flynn says that, we're in 5th generation warfare. It's not even, I mean, we see guerrilla warfare in the East of just random attack, in the Middle East with random attacks, but a lot of it's an information war. Maybe it's always been an information war. I really don't know. But, all this just makes me want to, completely move off grid, dissect from media, have a family, have like 10 kids, build a farm, and build agriculture success through farming and living off the land. I mean, this massive usury scheme and these pump and dump schemes that we're a part of, like, everyone's beholden to the debt. Everyone's beholden to this massive corporate debt system that we see. And I mean, it's hard to get away from it. Like, life should be more simple. We shouldn't have to worry about tyrannical leaders. I mean, maybe that's just inevitable, but we shouldn't have to worry about tyrannical leaders dictating our economics, because that's what it comes down to. I mean, you know, we see that this is going to create a massive rise in oil prices. I mean, we're already seeing here from the New York Post that we're looking at, you know, $3 a barrel increase just after a Hamas attack. I mean, we're going to probably see oil go over $100 a barrel, or maybe even up to $150 a barrel. And, you know, I mean, we see the rise in you know, it goes up and it goes down, but, you know, this is still going to affect, you know, the low income, even middle class Americans at the pump and every other piece of product, or every other product that we purchase. Because what do we see? Oil prices raise everything else. You know, oil prices go up, your milk, your eggs, everything else goes up. On top of the inflation that we're seeing through Bidenomics, it's really hard to break yourself from this economic system that we're in currently. I mean, do you guys have any ideas of solutions that we can provide? I mean, it's hard for anybody to break away from this system that we currently see.
Yeah, I think that we can first elect Donald Trump and then drill for our own oil. Stop being that's one of the reasons why we're involved in the Middle East is oil. What Sean said just a couple weeks ago about poppy seeds as well. Maybe. I don't know if that is one of the reasons, but he claims it is. But we need to start drilling for liquid gold in America. And then we can stop thinking about what's going on in the Middle East. Then we don't have to fight other people's wars. Then we don't have to protect the oil fields. And just imagine what America would be if we didn't spend the $10 trillion in the Middle East. Imagine if we spent that rebuilding American infrastructure.
Or free healthcare.
We could, like, that's one of the things as well. With that $10 trillion that we spent in the Middle East, we could have had free healthcare.
I was kidding, by the way.
No, but like that's how much money that we spent there. We could have had it. Like, I'm not saying I support it because it would have been horrible, but the amount of money that we spent in the Middle East is astronomical. $10 trillion. How much money? How much is for every single American would that be? How much new infrastructure? How much new science? How much new industry could we have? America wouldn't be falling behind if we actually reinvested all that money into roads, bridges, cars, trains. We could have built new industries left and right, but instead we wasted it buying off politicians in the Middle East and fighting war. That's 5% of people who are awake. I would say even a smaller percentage of that who are aware of what's going on with the deep state, who are aware of what's going on with the globalists. And because a lot of people have the right idea, but a lot of them are coming from the wrong place.
You know, this is how I feel. Like, I feel like we're in the fast lane right now. We're trying to pass that big semi, but there's a jackass in front of us that's going 20 below the speed limit. We're trying to get our ideas to the American people, but you got these idiots in front of us that are just distracted and focused on things that don't matter. And that's how I feel. Like, we're trying to go fast. We're trying to get through, get to our point, and, you know, live the American dream. But you can't do that when you have a bunch of idiots blocking your way. And that's my analogy for how I feel as an American right now, and just as a human being. It's a pro-human, or you're pro externalism, or, you know, what I can't come up with a word, but you're pro-human or you're pro-death at this point. And that's what these warmonger elites are doing currently. So, you know, we're about to close this broadcast, close the stream. It's been a very, very base story hour with Big Steve on the show today. Steve, in closing, give us your take.
You know what? Hey, you know what? Say your prayers, take your vitamins, as Hulk Hogan used to say. But I mean, make yourself right with God. I mean, prepare. I mean, I think this country is in for you know, a bad thing. I mean, it's you look at the southern border, you look at what's going on, you look at our politicians. I mean, other than the Nikki Haley's and this and that. I mean, they're all pro war, they're all pro this and that. Um, they're not going to let Donald Trump become president. They're not going to let somebody like Donald Trump become president again. And start preparing, because I think a year from now, we're this country's going to be in a world for hurt. And I pray to God that I'm wrong. I pray to God that I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I think a year from now we're going to be in a world of hurt.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Donald Trump he's not. We say that he's not going to be president. I'm not sure about that. I think that he might return when he's needed. You know, I think this might be just awakening people to how much we do need him in office, and I do hope that he comes back in order to restore a little bit of normalcy to the American Republic, get us out of the foreign wars, drill for our own oil, and take care of basically the great American comeback, because we no longer can be reliant on foreign countries, foreign wars, and a massive amount of debt that is never ending.
I say pray for him, and I say pray for his family, because I think they're going to eliminate him before we get to the election. They don't want him to run, and that's what every one of these lawsuits has been about, is to stop him, stop any one of his supporters. But it's only gained him more power, gained him more popularity. The only way to stop him is to take him out, and I think that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, and
so pray for him, pray for his family.
Yeah, and you know what we got to do, because we've got to bring more people up like Trump. We've got to rise to the occasion and bring people to the table that are going to accelerate the MAGA movement and keep it going, because it doesn't end with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the MAGA movement's much more than Donald Trump. It's about restoring the traditional American ideology of being a constitutional republic, having a government for the people, by the people, having a representative government to where you can actually make change by going to your local congressmen and your local senators, and bringing about the change that we need to restore the decency in America. And I think that that's what it's all about, making the Make America Great movement. It's much more than Donald Trump.
So then,
but can I ask you a question, Zane? I know we're running out of time here, but can I ask you a question? Is there one candidate that's running? Is there one politician that can do what Trump did? That can stand up and can take the bashing, it can take the ridicule, it can take the investigations, it can take everything else and deal with it and still perform his job?
It takes a lot out of a man.
Is there one person out there?
I honestly don't
I don't
know of
think
one,
there
but
is.
we've got to bring someone to the table. I mean, I would love to be that guy, but look, I'm really low on the totem pole. I don't have money. I don't have donors. I don't have businesses. I don't have the billions of dollars that it takes. I mean, Donald Trump is literally the most interesting man in the world. You know, everyone says it's the Dos Equis guy from the commercial, but it's Donald Trump, baby. Like, nobody has ever seen what this man is doing, like, as far as, you know, cutting his salary as being a president, coming as one of the most revered business people, comes out of left field. I mean, talked about running for president for years, but he comes out of left field, runs for presidency, destroys it, surprises everybody. All the liberals and leftists were seething when this man won. We had no wars under this man. Economics were great. You know, a plethora of other things that we see. And you make a great point. I mean, it's about the MAGA movement. It's about getting someone in other people and bringing about a whole team of MAGA towards this globalist anti-America threat. But you know, you might have stumped me on this one. I might have to phone a friend on this one. Micah.
I'm going to jump in on this one because Steve mentioned something about Donald Trump being killed. Greatest martyrdom movement ever. Okay, just imagine what would happen if, let's say they were stupid enough to kill Donald Trump. He would have, his legacy would live on forever. The MAGA movement would be set in stone at that movement because every single conservative would use it as their rallying cry and then be held to a gold standard of Donald Trump. Donald Trump, I 100% agree with Zane. MAGA doesn't end with Donald Trump. It starts with him. And it's almost like, yes, he kind of paved the way, opened up a whole bunch of doors for us, and that's why we can actually pick up the torch later on as Base Boys Media and continue on with the battle and go like, okay, he walks so I can run. So he opened some doors. Now let's go after. Let's make America great again. Let's open up business. Let's restore the great American Republic. 2014. I wouldn't have gone out and said, "Hey, we need to close the borders. We need to build a wall." I would have been too afraid to say that because I don't want to be called a racist. Now I'm like, build that wall. We got to make America great again. Right now, I'm not afraid of being called anti-Semitic because I don't want to jump into a war to defend Israel. I'm not afraid of being called racist because I want a wall to protect American jobs, the American citizens. I'm not afraid of being called whatever term that they're throwing at you because Donald Trump was called it first. Donald Trump was called all of these horrible names, and Teflon Don got out of all of it. So he almost kind of paved a path. So if they do try to kill him, martyrdom, greatest conservative in American history. And if they're stupid enough not to kill him, he leads the great American comeback.
But hold on one second. Okay, first of all, what I say about eliminating Donald Trump, I want the FBI to know, and anybody else that's listening, this is not my call. I'm repeating what I've heard other people say. But here's my point is, you said it doesn't start or it doesn't end with Donald Trump, it continues. But if it's not Trump right now, name one politician. Is it DeSantis? Swami, Haley? I mean, we know, sure as hell know isn't, I can't even think of his name, former New Jersey governor. But
Porky
who
Pig.
takes, who takes the torch? Who takes the lead? I mean, is there one person? Tim Scott, I think he's a good person. I think he's got the right ideas, this and that. But can he handle the constant bombardment of what Trump went through? And I think no matter what if a Republican beats Biden, which I think they're going to rig an election so that doesn't happen. But see, somebody beats. Can they put up with the crap that they put Trump through? I think they'll fold. I don't think you have a candidate tough enough right now to do and put up with what Trump put up with.
Here's the problem that I see with that analogy is you mentioned Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, DeSantis, Tim Scott, and whatever Porky Pig. All these people, when you say are these the people who are going to be carrying on MAGA? No, that's deep state. That's a deep state fighting back on our side, or not even on our side. They're using the Republican Party to try to take them on. So the deep state's going at him from every single angle. The left is going at him. The right's not even the right. The establishment's going at him. Every single angle is going at him. But when you say these people who are running for president, they don't stand a chance. What is Ron DeSantis at? His number 2. He's at under 10%. He's like at 10% tops in the polls. He's not even a rival with Donald Trump. He's someone that the establishment put forward to be a replacement. But America